Hello, dear students. After understanding what is octet rule, I will like to make you all aware with the exceptions of the octet rule. You will see that the octet rule is broken in a significant number of cases. If first we will take the first shell, it can only accommodate two electrons. Elements such as lithium, helium, and hydrogen obey the duet rule instead of the octet rule. Next, for example, for atoms such as beryllium and boron, which have less than four outermost electrons. If you will see the configuration of beryllium and boron, for beryllium 1s2, 2s2. For boron 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. Even if all the outer electrons means all 2 electron and all 3 electrons will be used in making bond, they will not attain the octet. Okay, let's take the example of boron trifluoride and beryllium fluoride. Beryllium outermost shell 2 electrons reacting with fluorine. Outermost shell contains 7 electrons. Okay, this is completing its octet, but beryllium is not. If we will take the example of boron trifluoride, boron is have 3 electrons in the outermost shell. When it will react with 3 fluorine, it will give boron trifluoride. Boron F F F. Octet will be completed of all the fluorine. Okay, so you can see that even if all the outer electrons are used to form bonds, the octet cannot be attained. Next exception is the octet rule is also broken where atoms have an extra energy level which is close in energy to the p level and may accept electrons and be used for bonding. PF3 PF3 obeys the octet rule, but PF5 does not. PF5 has 10 outer electrons and uses only 3s, 3 3p and 1 3d orbital. Okay, and any compound with more than 4 covalent bonds must break the rule. Okay, 4 bonds means 8 electrons. If more than 5 bonds are being formed means it is violating the octet rule, and any compound with more than 4 covalent bond must break the octet rule and these violations become increasingly common in elements after the first two periods of 8 elements in the periodic table. So from third period, the elements which are making PCl 5, 6, 7, this type of molecules, that is possible, but they are violating the octet rule. The octet rule does not work in molecules which have an odd number of electrons. I will tell you about the counting of electrons, then you will come to know how it is giving the coming as odd numbers. So NO and ClO2, they have odd numbers, and oxygen is a paramagnetic and has two unpaired electrons. This also was not explained by the octet rule. You have to remember, despite these exceptions, the octet rule is surprisingly reliable and did a great deal to explain the number of bonds formed in simple cases. However, it gives no indication to shape adopted by the molecule. With this octet rule, we are not able to predict the shape of any of the molecules, so that how the rule is being violated, we cannot explain it. Just to remove this failure, few scientists have given their theories. In this, Sigwick-Powell theory was very much interesting and very much near to the truth, what is exactly the shape and structure, how it can be explained. So in 1940, Sigwick and Powell reviewed the structures of molecules then known. They suggested that for molecules and ions that only contain single bonds, the approximate shape can be predicted from the number of electron pairs in the outer or valence shell of the central atom. Whichever molecule is being formed, suppose PCl3, PCl5, this will be our central metal. Central metal means the other element. I am going to use the word ligand, but I will explain you what exactly ligand is. So central metal atom is the one from which to which the other elements is ligated, is attached. Okay, that is your central metal atom. The outer shell contains one or more bond pairs of electrons, but it may also contain unshared pairs of electrons. What are unshared pairs of electrons? Yes, lone pairs. Bond pairs and lone pairs were taken as equivalent since all electron pairs take up some space, and since all electrons repel each other, means either the bond is there, it will also repel. If lone pair is there, it will be also it will also repel, and repulsion is minimized if the electron pairs are oriented in space as far as possible. Means the bond should remain away from each other in the space, so that repulsion will be minimum and they will have a stable state. In this continuation only, the shapes was discussed. Try to understand it. If there are two pairs of electrons, okay, two pairs of electrons means two bonds in the valence shell of the central atom, the orbital containing them will be oriented at 180 degree to each other, and it follows that if these orbitals overlap with orbitals from the other atoms to form bonds, then the molecule will be linear. Okay, 180 degree. If two bonds are there, they will be at 180 degree and the molecule will be linear. If the central metal atom has three bonds, it will attain a triangular structure and the angle will be 120 degrees centigrade. If four electron pairs, 1, 2, 3, 4, then it will have a tetrahedron structure. and the angle will be 109 degrees 28 minutes. For 5 pairs, the shape is a trigonal bipyramidal. For 6 pairs, the shape will be octahedral and the angles between every bond will be 90 degree. This is your octahedral. These are the ligands. And every angle you can see, you can measure, that is 90 degree. So this was the Sedgwick-Powell theory. Now let's see what is Fudgens rule. Polarizing power and polarizability can be explained by Fudgens rule. Consider making a bond theoretically by bringing two ions A plus and B minus. These are two ions and we are bringing these two to make a bond. So let's consider making a bond theoretically by bringing two ions A plus and B minus together to their equilibrium distance. Will the bond remain ionic or will it become covalent? Okay, A plus and B minus is brought near to the equilibrium distance. Now the bond will be ionic or it will be covalent. Ionic and covalent bonding are two extreme types of bonding, and almost always the bonds formed are intermediate in type. Of this is explained in terms of polarizing. What is polarizing? That is deforming the shape of the ions. The type of bond A plus and B minus depends on the effect one ion has on the other. The positive ion attracts the electrons on the negative ion and at the same time it repels the nucleus. This positive ion is attracting the electrons but repelling the nucleus. Thus distorting or polarizing the negative ion. You can see that this negative ion is getting distorted. It will move towards the cation. The negative ion will also polarize the positive ion. This is also happening with this positive ion also. But since anions are usually large, you can see that anions are usually large and cations small. It is small. The effect of a large ion on a small one will be much less pronounced. If the degree of polarization is quite small, then the bond remains largely ionic. If the degree of polarization is large, electrons are drawn from the negative ion towards the positive ion, resulting in high concentration of electrons between the two nuclei, and a large degree of covalent character results. So Fudgens rule accounts for the covalent character in ionic compounds, and covalency is favored by smaller cation or larger anion and large charge on either ion. So Fajan has summarized by putting forward his rules in favoring polarization and hence covalency. A small positive ion favors covalency. A large negative ion favors covalency. Large charges on either ion or on both ions favor covalency. Polarization and hence covalency is favored if the positive ion does not have a noble gas configuration. You have seen that a molecule having partial positive and partial negative charges are separated by a distance, that is their bond distance, is also referred to as a dipole. Dipole means it is having two poles. Positive and negative two poles are being developed, so we have to measure the dipole moment. And dipole moment of any body or any bond is the product of the net positive or negative charge and distance between the two charged ends, that is their bond length. So we can calculate dipole moment is equals to electronic charge into distance. Dipole moment is measured in debye unit. Capital D is the denotion of debye, and dipole moment is very important and it is measured in debye unit. Dipole moment of a molecule is vector addition of all the individual bond moments. And if we have to calculate the percentage ionic character, so this is the formula. The percent ionic character is equals to observed dipole moment by expected dipole moment into 100. Next is hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding. To explain the physical properties of many compounds, the concept of hydrogen bond was introduced. It has been found that compounds in which hydrogen atom is covalently bonded to fluorine, oxygen, or nitrogen atoms show abnormal physical properties. It is due to the presence of hydrogen bond. The elements fluorine, oxygen, and nitrogen have high electronegativity and small atomic radius. Chlorine atom is highly electronegative, but its atomic radius is large. Therefore, compounds containing chlorine normally do not form hydrogen bond, but few compounds containing chlorine have been shown to form hydrogen bond also. So, when hydrogen atom is covalently bonded to a highly electronegative element, it has the tendency to form bond with other electronegative element. Such a bond formed is called hydrogen bond. What is the nature of hydrogen bond? When hydrogen atom is covalently bonded to fluorine, oxygen, or nitrogen, the bond is polar. Here you can see hydrogen atom acquires partial positive charge and hence it has the tendency to form with other electronegative atom. Thus hydrogen bond is purely electrostatic in nature, and you have to remember that it is a weak bond. Hydrogen bond is a weak bond. If we will talk about the strength of hydrogen bond, it depends upon the atom with which hydrogen atom forms hydrogen bond. Actually, the magnitude of hydrogen bonding also depends on the physical state of the compound. It is maximum in the solid state and minimum in gaseous state. The hydrogen bonds have strong influence on the structure and properties of the compounds. And you have to remember that hydrogen bond is weaker than covalent bond. If we will talk about the types of hydrogen bonds is of two types: intermolecular hydrogen bond or association, and intramolecular hydrogen bond. What is intermolecular hydrogen bond? You can see here. Hydrogen bond formed between two or more molecules of the same or different compounds is called intermolecular hydrogen bond. Molecules of HF, H2O, H2O2, ammonia, alcohol, glycerol, phenols, carboxylic acids, amino acids, proteins, etc. are associated through hydrogen bond. And what is intramolecular hydrogen bond? Hydrogen bond formed within the atoms of a same molecule is called intramolecular hydrogen bond. Both hydrogen and the electronegative element required to form hydrogen bonds are present in the same molecule. For example, orthonitrophenol, orthofluorophenol, orthohydroxybenzoic acid, orthochlorophenol, etc. contain intramolecular hydrogen bond. So, what is the effect of hydrogen bond on physical properties? Number one, boiling point of ammonia is greater than phosphine. Okay, boiling point of ammonia is greater than phosphine. It is because ammonia molecules are associated through hydrogen bond and phosphine molecules do not form hydrogen bond. Number two, at room temperature, water is liquid while H2S is gas. It is because water molecules are associated through hydrogen bond and hydrogen bond is not formed among H2S molecules. Molecular mass of ethyl alcohol C2H5OH and dimethyl ether CH3OCH3 is same. Even then, ethyl alcohol is liquid at room temperature. Its boiling point is 78 degrees centigrade, while dimethyl ether is gas. Its boiling point is minus 23.6 degrees centigrade. It is because molecules of alcohol are associated through hydrogen bond and therefore its boiling point is higher than expected. Sugar, glucose, urea, alcohol, acetone, glycerol, etc. all are covalent compounds and are soluble in water. It is because they form intermolecular hydrogen bond with water. One more application or effect: ice floats on water. Ice is solid, even then it is lighter than water. Why? In ice, water molecules are associated through hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bonding is more extensive in ice than water. Each oxygen atom is linked to 4 hydrogen atoms in ice. Water molecules are tetrahedrally arranged. Ice has an open cage like structure. There are holes or open space left in ice. Due to open space, volume of ice increases and hence its density decreases. When ice is converted into water, open space is occupied by water molecules. Volume of water decreases and hence density of water increases. Many more are there. Let me discuss one more. Acid strength of various carboxylic acids and phenols and basic strength of several bases is explained by hydrogen bond. Greater the binding sites, more extensive is the hydrogen bonding. Glycerol has 3 hydroxyl groups. Glycol has two OH groups. Therefore, glycerol is more viscous than glycol. The solubility in water also increases with the increase in bonding sites. So this is very important and easy. When you will go through it, hydrogen bonding is a very easy topic and it is very important also. Many of the give reasons will be explained only by just giving the answer as a hydrogen bond. So this is very important for your 11th, 12th competition engineering first year. Okay, this was all about these topics. Next topic will be my VSEPR theory. That is very important, very interesting, and your concentration is required to listen and understand the VSEPR theory. So, read all whatever I have taught today and go through the questions from this topics. Okay, thank you so much, children.